So here you have the icons of different moments to access Oiticica's program. And I wanted the reader, not the reader, but the navigator, to enter from any concept or any moment and not chronologically. So when you see search document, maybe I am risky, I will write body-wise. I don't know if it's body-wise, okay. So it should work. And here you have 9 occurrences of documents with body-wise. And these are work documents in which he tried to explain through Jimi Hendrix and all his personal visuality what this could mean, okay? So this is online. You can type here. I don't know if it's possible to access, but you should hear, you can type, okay. So there is a resume, which is briefly what Ida asked us to do, is to give some key words to be able to connect one document to the other. And then if it is really the document that you wanted, you have the digital document. You can find it, okay? So this was something that took 3 years. And yes, and the notion of creleasure is related to this image. We also tried, but it doesn't work in all the computers, because the base is this Itaú Cultural. So I don't know why in some computers it doesn't work. But here from Ninho, which is Nest, you can go through different concepts like creleasure, Eden, Whitechapel experience, experimental, Mundo Abrigo, which is a world shelter. So you can move on, okay? So I will stop here and present the concept of creleasure, and I immediately want to say that I had a real difficulty to decide which word would better fit for your glossary or our now. I suggested creleasure, which is fundamentally what is happening in this image. It is a nest inside Whitechapel Gallery in '69. But I will be happy to hear and rethink in our context now if it would not be better to change it. And from this morning on, I have think that maybe free time is another possibility. Inactivity as a term, yes. Because I think that creleasure is still a good word. We are here trying to redefine words. So in the sense, we are not satisfied with the world. So we cannot propose a world with which we are satisfied. So I think free time is the word that we have to deal, which is not what used to be in the beginning of the 20th century. Another word can be inactivity, since we are all here facing the industry of entertainment and museums, etc. So I think inactivity can be a good word. Or it is another one that emerged this morning, it's anti-hero. And anti-hero is also a concept redefined by Oiticica after Cara di Cavallo, but let's stuck on it. Well, creleasure was a term coined in 1969, so I'm reading it very quickly, to identify both a time duration, so it's time-based, like Katerina was talking yesterday, but it's also a space-based experience. So these are open areas in which not only artists, but common people could succeed the preconditions necessary for poetic situations and new sensory perspectives. So the idea here is that not only the artist is having this moment, but he is allowing the audience to stage this fusion between creation and leisure. So this inactivity is very important, since it is when you produce this void in the industry, in the production, you are then unable to create something new. This is also a concept borrowed from another concept which is important in Brazilian context, which is laziness. I don't know if you would agree to talk about laziness. It's not Paul Lafargue idea, but in Brazil, laziness, the concept of laziness is fundamental in Mário de Andrade's novel Macunaíma from 1928. So I think it's important also to understand that when Oiticica, after this experience in London, he had this fellowship and went to New York, and he developed the concept of creleasure, body-wise, and world as shelter. And he put all these concepts inside a big edifice, which was a playground. So also this is another problematic term, because for him there is no problem in having a playground inside an institution. Of course, he will then redefine his activities, and he will go outside. But playground is an important turn in his projects. And I always thought that as an Hispanic also language, why he didn't use entertainment and he used leisure. So I understand that this was calculated. He made the distinction between leisure, which is a possibility or an instrument to reload one's energy. When you are too tired, you need to release. So the leisure is important, and entertainment is actually the instrument of alienation, which is the tool of the society of the spectacle. So I understand that with this shift, Oiticica was kind of going further than Guy Debord, because there is in Guy Debord a negative, an impossibility to overcome the society of spectacle, but in Oiticica he would say no, let's develop creleasure, okay? So I understand that what would be interesting for me here in this forum is to make free time a productive zone, and to understand that if we take inactivity as something that has not to be condemned as the loser, for instance, as someone who is not useful for the society, but it is a term that could enable us to a revolution, to revolutionize the potentiality of free time. In another moment, I had a problem because I understood that maybe we should problematize the notion of leisure now, because in digital era we are so. What Oiticica wanted to point here is an experience beyond contemplation. So he wanted a simultaneity to be the essence of the experience. But now what has happened 30 or 40 years later is that we are lacking concentration. So this was why I was thinking maybe creleasure should have to be redefined, because our leisure has entered in such a profound way in our working that meanwhile we are working, we are checking emails, we are checking WhatsApp. So the private sphere and the public sphere are all intertwined. So in a way it is like saying, well, the project of Oiticica actually happened, and we now have to surpass it. We have to overcome it, because I don't know if I make myself clear. In a sense, distraction, which was something that he was aiming at that moment, has turned into the danger of what is happening in our way of working today. I don't know if it's too confused. So in my own reflection, I'm revisiting now the distraction theory from Walter Benjamin, and I don't know why, but I think that the notion of leisure is so omnipresent that we, as Marcuse, Herbert Marcuse is one of the author that I think we should reread in this moment, especially The One-Dimensional Man, where he already announced that biologically we are over-determined. No? So I think that all what is happening in the biennales and all these big events is mostly that the leisure is everywhere, and maybe my proposition is a bit controversial, in the sense that maybe we should rethink another concept. But in this sense, creleasure still function. If we have to face another term for leisure, maybe creleasure is still possible. But I would really like to share this discussion with you. Thank you very much. Yes. Yes.
We can discuss this later. And I think there are so many, things, laziness in Eastern Europe, in Russian literature, which Katya can, of course, and in former Yugoslav art, there are so many examples. And
Okay.
this is, again, one of the purposes of the glossary to find the common points also.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
so I think that all these remarks maybe we keep for our discussion. So it's important that we are not lost in the discussion, but we try to structure it a little bit already on these associative lines that are somehow planned for the web platform.
Yes.
Later.
I forgot another dual concept: acceleration and deceleration. Actually, we have read, yes, slowing down, yes. And there are many new authors now that are saying that we have to, instead we have to accelerate, because we have so many things to do to transform the global planet, etc., that we cannot slow down. Actually, we have to accelerate. So inactivity is a good word if we understand that we can build here this anti-hero. And for a curator, it would be, oh, what have you been done? Nothing. When was your last exhibition out? 5 years ago. So actually, this is something that I found that is common. We have, and it's related to time. We don't have time anymore to finish what we start. She wanted.
A question related to a lot of the language you're using to describe free time also connects in my mind to other projects of Oiticikas, where he is talking specifically about cocaine.
Yes.
And the use of drugs as a tool of subjectivization. So I'm just wondering in this, I think I connect this kind of program more to a program like Tester Junkie, where you're using chemicals and drugs to intervene in your processes of subjectivization. So I'm just wondering how you connect the two, or if there's a connection at all for you.
Yes, maybe Francisco want to join you. Okay, because for me, when I look at these pictures and when I look at the Cosmococa, I never understood how the cocaine, unless, of course, the presence of the lines of the white sand element, because the effect of the drug of cocaine is totally the opposite of resting and lying. And he wrote a lot about the effects of different drugs. You can put drug here in this document, and then, yes, and sex. Yes, I did it. Yeah, you put here droga. And it's a good question because, oh no, this is, because it's Slovenian alphabet, droga, you know. So you have 17 articles, and it has to do with the aparecimento do suprasensorial. So Cosmococa program in progress, and all the instructions are related, I understand, more in a formal way than in the activity, because everybody knows that cocaine is not about lying and laying and resting. It gives you another reaction. I don't know if I answered you, but I think he used it only for the pictures when he draw, you know, he used it to draw the images. And then, of course, to sniff it. But in terms of the behavior of the viewer, I can't see the relation. I can't see.
No, I just was wondering about these three concepts you said that Oiticica developed when he did his show in the Whitechapel Gallery in London. So I just was wondering the relationship between conceptualization and context. In which way, like, his London experience transform or provoke, like, this necessity of these concepts?
Yes. To be more precise, it was not in London. In London, he started to think about creleasure, but it was in New York that he tried to write a book, and the title of this book was New Yorkaise, and each chapter was dedicated to a kind of experience, and it was an encyclopedic gathering of different materials. So it was very polyphonic. At that time, it didn't have these tools to have the hyperlinks, etc. I used to say that he would be very happy to have the possibility to navigate with no linear reading. But this is, I think you have to relate it to New York experiences like Gordon Matta Clark and Vito Acconci, much more than the London experience. But this is another. Yeah. You have a question?
Yeah, I have one brief question. It's about recreation, not creleasure, but recreation, because I mean, did I understand you right that also Oiticica wanted the doing nothing, the inactivity, to be recreational in the sense that it would prepare you for real creativity?
No, it's not
No?
recreation. Récréation, you are thinking in France?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, because this would be too much dispersive. I think it's an interesting question. I've never thought about it, but then there are many instances that you can evoke here, for instance, in the dance, or even dancing, playing. Another interesting word is to play, and to with the parangolé play, and
Real inactivity, which is not supposed to make you stronger so that you can do things,
no.
but is just inactivity.
Yes.
No, but recreation the program of the word recreation is that you're allowed to rest for a while because it makes you more capable of doing things, you know? And
It's
that's
a
at
pause.
least,
Maybe a pause?
oh, of course it's an after reconstruction, you know? But Protestants need that because they cannot, you know, live without this. So, but in Oiticica, I guess it's different, no? That's my question. Is
Yeah.
it different or isn't it? You know?
I am a French speaker, so I feel my first language is French, so I feel that recreation doesn't fit here, but it's totally feeling.
And I'm glad it doesn't fit, you know. So that's my question.
No, I don't think it would work. Recreation.